Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to P4P TV. This is Michael and it's been a while, but I'm back! Well, cut me off at the knees and label me tripod. 2023 keeps on delivering the exciting fights, and coming our way in the month of May is more of the same. In a month stacked with mega fights and title fights, comes this little gem of a bout between reigning lightweight and undisputed champion Devin Haney as he defends all the titles, IBF, WBA, WBO, WBC and Ring Magazine belts against former unified pound-for-pound and three-division champ Vasyl Lomachenko. It takes place on the 20th of May, Las Vegas. A stacked card featuring Aussie, Andrew Moloney, Junto, Nakatani and Oscar Valdez will support the main event. Moloney takes on Nakatani for the vacant WBO Super Flyweight title, and of course, we here in Australia wish him all the best. Devin the Dream Haney will enter the Matrix come May 20th to see if the Matrix is still fully operational or if it is riddled with glitches and malware. Both fighters, Haney and Lomachenko, have remained fairly active, relatively speaking, with Haney getting in one more fight than Loma in 2022. Nevertheless, both fighters finished off 2022 with bouts at the tail end of the year and both enjoyed victories. However, whereas the younger and fresher Devin Haney, 24 years of age, both acquired and retained his undisputed status in the same year, and impressively so, the older and more weathered 35-year-old Vasyl Lomachenko has had to gradually rebuild his career since losing to Teofimo Lopez back in 2020. Despite not having as impressive a resume as Loma, many would argue, and looking at the list of respective past opponents, it's a fair argument. Haney has at least proven that he's willing to travel into hostile territory to test himself, and now we see Haney once again testing himself against an elite fighter and ex-champion. After beating George Kambosos Jr. in early 2022 and taking his, at the time, IBF, WBA and WBO and Ring Magazine titles to unify and claim undisputed, Haney honoured his word and rematch clause by travelling back to Melbourne, Australia for a second time later that year to defend his titles, which he did so as convincingly as the first time against Kambosos. In the rematch, we saw a matured and further polished Haney who showed more capability as an inside fighter than previously before. Haney opted at times to exchange with Kambosos, proving that unlike their first encounter, Haney didn't entirely rely on boxing fundamentals like jab and move, feints and clinching in close, but instead proved that he could trade shots in close range. Perhaps sensing that one day he would eventually face someone like Lomachenko, this newly developed ability from Haney might come in handy against a slick inside fighter like Loma, who is not only skilled at breaking clinches, but is notorious for befuddling opponents with angles and positioning when on the inside. The question is, what Lomachenko will show up on the 20th? Vasyl High-Tech Lomachenko, or Loma if you'd prefer, has been on the career mend since that Lopez fight, which saw a very cautious start from Lomachenko early in the fight, cost him the undisputed mantle in the lightweight division. Shoulder injuries aside, when Loma finally kicked into gear, the points racked up by Lopez, including rounds banked by him in the second half of the fight, had comfortably secured him the victory. For Loma, it was a career setback, along with the spicy flu in full swing throughout 2020, shoulder surgery, and troubles in the motherland. It was a turbulent time for him. Despite the distractions, Lomachenko followed the principles as laid out by Tony Danza's right arm tattoo. The sage teachings of Danza's ink proved wise as Lomachenko went on to defeat his subsequent three opponents, teaching them all who's the boss. An almost year-long layoff after the Richard Comey fight in late 2021, leading up to Loma's last bout against Jermaine Ortiz in late 2022, had many boxing pundits wondering if Loma was finished. Despite winning the fight by unanimous decision, Loma's performance was criticised for being less than spectacular. Much of the credit for that goes to rising talent and undefeated at the time, Ortiz, but many had and still have their doubts on whether Loma has what it takes to be a full champion again. Loma is still ranked highly by many in boxing officialdom, and some consider him to be one of the four kings of the lightweight division, that being Haney, Gervonta Davis, newly arrived Shakur Stevenson, and George Kambosos Jr., with many interchanging Kambosos and Lomachenko. Despite not being as spry or carrying the power he had at 126 and 130 pounds, where he retired or knocked out most of his opponents, Loma hasn't lost his power entirely, and his ring IQ, work rate, and volume is still too much for his opposition. 17 wins with 11 by knockout, 2 losses and 0 draws. The more than a decade older Lomachenko has spent less time in the ring as a pro boxer than Haney, who holds a record of 29-0 with 15 wins by KO. But with a wealth of overall boxing experience, craftiness, and ring wisdom, can Loma get back on top of the heap at 135 pounds? If I'm wrong, I'm happy to eat beans and cabbage and sit around the house wearing a spacesuit, but this fight comes down to what Loma has left and what Haney has learned and developed in his arsenal. On the inside, Loma is slippery, fast, and devastating. Typically, he raises the tempo and pressure as the fight goes on, and this will make Haney uncomfortable. Having to exchange on the inside will be a must for Haney because holding on to Lomachenko will be difficult. Haney will have to use his reach and size to his advantage, but make no mistake, Lomachenko will find a way inside, and it's how Haney deals with that may determine how this fight ends. My head tells me that Lomachenko has all the tools to beat Haney, but credit to Haney, he does find solutions on how to beat opponents, and I think Team Haney will have the right game plan for Lomachenko. I predict Haney wins on points. Remember to jab that like, share, subscribe, and notification bell. Check out our Patreon page to become a Patreon family member where you'll receive some cool perks. If you're looking for some new threads, we've got t-shirts, hoodies, and much, much more, so head on over to our Michael Akobi Pound for Pound TV stores. They can be found on Redbubble and Spreadshop. Join me on my travels and head on over to my other YouTube channel titled Barefoot and Free. There you can follow me as I traverse the many parts of our planet and occasionally get into a spot of bother. Nonetheless, it's always fun and entertaining. If you're struggling with some of life's obstacles and challenges, my book, How to Get Out of Life Traps, might just be the answer that you're looking for to help guide you through the difficult times. It's helped many get past some of their darkest moments, and it might do the same for you. You can purchase it on Amazon, where you can also find a wide range of my other works. Those works include screenplay to book adaptations, a fairly unique concept, with genres covering comedy, heist and revenge, drama, supernatural and crime, if that's more your cup of tea. You can find them by following the link provided. Thank you for watching Pound for Pound TV. Please remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell for future updates. See you in the next one.